Mad Church Disease, a channel that's all about current events, news, and Christian drama. A channel that's dedicated to our forgotten brothers and sisters throughout the ages. Our brothers and sisters who courageously stepped outside the safe bounds of institutional Christianity to tell the truth. A channel whose goal is to help the average person understand that Jesus plus nothing is everything. So, comment, subscribe, and smash the notifications button to be a part of this channel.
Come on in, everybody. Come on in, everybody. I apologize for my lateness. To some people, I'm probably early because I was going to come on later at about 4 o'clock. We're about to have probably one of the best conversations that I've had in a very, very long time. If you are here, please do me the awesome favor of saying thank you by hitting the like button, as well as letting me know where you're listening in from today. Or if you're here with me, leave me a comment down in the comment section. Hello, I don't want to mess up your name. Opal, I believe that's Opal. Hey, Opal, so glad you're here with me. Thank you for coming in. Candace, thank you so very much for coming in. I appreciate you coming in. Blessed and highly favored. And I say highly favored, but blessed and favored. Thank you, CC. Thank you so very much for coming in. Thank all of you guys for coming on. Hey, Kelly, look at you guys piling in here on a Sunday. Good. Thank y'all for coming in. I really appreciate it. And so swiftly. Shout out to the 26 of you that are here with me. I'm not sharing this on Facebook. Hey, Ann, good to have you here. Hey, MS Ward, thank you guys for being with me on today. Hey, Brittany, I didn't see you here. You slipped on in here. You slipped past me. Is that Beauty for Ashes? Good Lord, y'all done came in here so quick. I didn't even call nobody's name there. Hey, Beauty. Hey, Beautiful Ashes. Thank you guys for joining me. Come on in, everybody. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm not gonna be here too long. I just need to get some things off of my chest, and I don't know how long this live will be. Don't know how this live is going to go. Yes, I'm going to stay off the screen for the majority of this live. So this is one of these lives where if you're driving or you're cooking or cleaning around the house, this will be one of these lives that you can listen to. Okay. This is going to be somewhat um, of a sort of kind of like I'm going to say a private live in a sense, because I'm going to speak from my heart. And you guys know, for those of you that are in my private community, you guys know how I typically am able to converse with you and be a little bit more transparent. And so I'm going to talk today with a little bit more transparency, and hopes that you all will give me the freedom to do so. Hey, Shy Rosalind, good to have you with us as well. Kelly Hayes, thank you so much for coming in. So all of you that are here, y'all, please do me the awesome favor of hitting the like button. If you're new to my channel, there will be a link down in the description for you where you can subscribe to the email newsletter, where you can keep up with all things Mad Church Disease. I would appreciate you coming over and subscribing to our email newsletter. If you are a supporter of the Mad Church Disease channel, I would ask that you would support the channel. The Cash App information, of course, is on the screen for you. You all can do that. It is on there. Pouncy, you know what, Pouncy? I hadn't seen you in a couple of days, and then I was on the internet. And I said, well, hey, there go that Pouncy. Hey, good to see you, Pouncy. Hey, Dario. Good to have you here. And Roosevelt, good to have you here as well. I'm so happy to see you here. So, Pouncy, good to see you here as well. All right, guys, I'm not going to keep you guys long. So, over the last couple of months and weeks, we have been inundated with preachers being exposed, which is something that happens typically, as well as watching the narcissistic behavior of preachers who do get exposed, and 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 are constantly lying and gown. A part of my thought process has been, Lord, I'm just going to, which is still what my process is. Lord, I'm just going to let you deal with this stuff and go from there. And there was a comment that I wanted to put up on the screen, but I forgot. Dealing with this Brian Carn thing for as long as I have, and just dealing with preachers and gaslighting preachers and pimp preachers who have lied to the body of Christ. We are in an existential crisis. We don't really feel like we are, but we've been in this crisis for quite some time. And the Church Folk Revolution, myself and others have been, railing and, hurling a message to try and get people to understand that the body of Christ at large is in trouble. And we're in trouble because we have allowed men and women who do not have any sort of relationship with God, do not love God, etc., to sort of come in and rock us to sleep in so much stuff, and with so much stuff. And if you all can just let me kind of go back for just a moment. And for those of you that don't know my story, let me just kind of speak on my story just for a second. I was raised by, a mother and a father. I spent most of the time with my mother, but I spent a few months out of the year with my father. So I'm not the kind of guy who did not have his father in his life. My father was a hardworking man who happened to had a lot of children. Okay. That's what they did in the South back then. There wasn't very much to do except eat and do the other stuff. So they didn't do a whole lot of stuff. Okay. So I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth, but later on in life, I had an aunt who, was very blessed. And when I became a teenager, I went to go live with her. But my first religious experiences, of course, which is pretty much like the majority of you all, we got our grandmothers or our family members or someone takes us to church. And I vaguely, my earliest remembrance of going to church was actually my aunt taking me to the Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church in Winston-Salem. And Bishop Solomon L. Drake Sr. was our pastor, which was down the street from the Masonic Temple and also the Mount Calvary Church that was pastored by Bishop Harold Ivory Williams. If you know who that happens to be Shirley Caesar's husband. So you could literally walk from Shiloh down the street to Mount Calvary, and across the street from Mount Calvary was the Masonic Temple. And once you crossed over the street from there and you walk down a little bit, you would be in what they refer to as Cleveland Projects. Okay. So the reason why I'm telling you all of this, because I think it helps you all to understand and formulate my mindset, as well as why I sort of think the way that I do regarding some of this stuff. When I, as a young man, began to confess and profess my love for Christ and serving God, I took on, I guess you can say a mindset of studying and researching and finding out about who Jesus is, and, trying to really become astute in scripture, etc. And I moved very swiftly through, the upper echelon of our church. And my mother really pretty much made me move from being Baptist at one point. And then my mother made the decision for me to go into what we refer to as holiness, because I had been Baptist for most of my young years. And then when I became a teenager, moving over into the holiness experience. And let me just say something here. When I tell you I have always been devoted to the things of God and to the people of God, that has always been my life. I don't come on the internet to pretend to be one thing while being something else. I think what amazes a lot of Christians and a lot of people is the fact that I talk so freely about not being perfect, because we have become so accustomed to, in the institutional church, wearing masks and pretending and really not being honest with ourselves and with our thoughts. And I feel like even amongst this church community and this church vlogging space, there are so many masks that get worn and so many pretend things that get done to give the air or the pretense of, living something that individuals know that they actually aren't living. Hey, Patsy, good to see you in here. What up, Daryl Moore? And so it is something to watch and behold, because over the last couple of months, I have seen on this internet so many preachers lying, so many preachers gaslighting, and I'm going to get to it in a second. So y'all just hang on. I got to process this out. My early church experiences formulated who I am as a person. Um, Growing up and growing into holiness was a profound change for me because I took, if the pastor told us that going to the movies was a sin, I didn't go to the movies. If the pastor told us we couldn't do this and we couldn't do that, I listened. I listened from a teenager all the way up into adulthood. So you need to understand, I was in the holiness church until I became a full grown man. Okay. When I got my first television, I didn't even tell the people in church I had a TV. That's the real honest to goodness truth. I didn't even tell the people I had a TV. If you guys can think back when Anita Baker became famous, and I started sneaking and listening to Anita Baker, and the church found out I was listening to Anita Baker and made me throw away all of my cassette tapes at the time because they said that was sinner music and you couldn't listen to that. And I mean, I was crying because I really, really loved Anita Baker's music. And still to this day, I love Anita Baker. And so I lived a different type of existence. And I know I'm going to say something that's going to shock some of you, but when I became an adult, on some level, I really started to become ashamed of that experience. And here's why I became ashamed of it, because I would go into spaces and places where, a fully grown man should know how to function and be able to maneuver. But I actually am quite oblivious to a lot of things that go on. You said, did they put you on the altar? I don't know if they put me on the altar, but I don't know. I don't think so. But y'all know we was in church every darn day, so the church was the altar. We was always on our knees praying. and listen here, and it wasn't no altar, but they show, how it goes. So the church has always been my experience. And as a grown man, I started to feel ashamed that I didn't know how to maneuver around the, situations. And let me just say this, as a 50-year-old, sometimes there are certain things that people say, even amongst society to this day, that I have no point of reference for, and it will go over my head. And you don't have to believe me. You can ask some of these moderators, or when we have private conversations, sometimes they say certain things, and I'd be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And I felt a lot of shame for a long time about that, because I felt like, there really wasn't a great level of balance. And I didn't really become a more balanced person until I got probably around 24, 25. And the Lord started really dealing with me about getting a balance in my mental, because the battle of Christianity, believe it or not, a lot of it is mental. Isn't because the Bible says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and, wickedness in high places. The battle has always been, a lot of times for most believers, in our minds. And so, I've had to war with the mind a lot, and to get clarity with my mind, and to have a balance in my mind. And having a balance in my mind is imperative for me and very important. And not fooling around with a bunch of people who are trying to gaslight you, mistreat you, and I will not stand for it. And I most certainly will not stand for it as a 50-year-old man. I understand that there are some people who will come by a person's channel who don't know them, and who've never really come to understand that person's life and life's, history, who will formulate all sorts of opinions. And can I be honest with you here? I believe that's exactly what Bernard Jordan did when he came to this channel. They were perusing this internet. They were looking at all of the people that thought that just hated Larry with such a tremendous gusto, and they thought for some odd reason that individuals would just, be willing to, say all sorts of things and throw all sorts of things at Larry, et cetera, et cetera. I want y'all to hear me. I have no malice in my heart for anyone. Although I may have some fundamental disagreements with certain people, that doesn't mean I'm going to go after them and attach them to a wicked and perverse system that is the most ungodly system. And what I find even more egregious, how people who claim to name the name of Jesus, who will get on the internet and lie about their lifestyles and the things that they're doing. And it's not even so much about their lifestyle, because I want you to hear me. I support a lot of people and I support a lot of communities. So it's not even about their lifestyle with me. It's about the hypocrisy of their lifestyle, and they're lying about it. People getting on the internet and telling you today that I'm holy and I'm faithful and I'm all of these things. And then you turn around and you become aware of other things that are contrary to that person and that individual, and these people treating you as if some sort of way you've done something wrong by simply calling out their hypocrisy. Do you not know that it is biblical to actually, as a man of God, as a woman of God, do you guys not realize that the Bible demands that we expose these people? Now, I often say I'm not in the expose ministry because I don't want to go out, telling people's personal secrets and things of that nature. And that's one of the reasons why I defended Bernard Jordan for as long as I did. And I want you all to hear me, because I'm talking about preachers and their lies and being exposed. I want y'all to hear me. And I'm going wherever the conversation flows with me. So y'all hang on tight. I am just as surprised as you all that somebody would try and name me in some sort of alleged suit where they could, carouse all of us into one place and to get us to try to explain ourselves or to throw other people under the bus. Many of you know, for those of you that follow me, I've already said it a million times, I'm not throwing anyone under any bus for anybody. Under no circumstances will I be doing that. And as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, I find a lot of this the most childish stuff that I've ever experienced on the internet. I will not become a party to anyone's game that they want to play, especially when it comes to my personal life. I'm not going to allow anyone to cause me a whole bunch of harm, knowing full darn well that they are lying through their teeth. And I'm not going to play their game. I'm not going to do that. We know on this internet way more about things than people that we care to know about. And I'm amazed. But I have always, listen, no one asked me to step down from leadership. I stepped down myself. Let me tell you why one of the major reasons why I left the institutional church. Let me tell you something. I left the institution because I refused to live in hypocrisy. If you know that you want to have sex and you want to do what you want to do, step down and go do what you want to do. Okay? Don't be living in hypocrisy. Don't be standing in a pulpit telling people to not fornicate or don't do this and don't do that, all while you're doing it. To me, that is the slip and slide to separate you from the mind and the heart of God, because you're living, in my opinion, in hypocrisy. Don't be running around telling people that they should live a certain kind of way, all while you are doing the complete opposite of what you claim to be. And own your imperfections and your imperfectness. See, the thing that confuses, I think, a lot of people with me is the fact that I own my imperfections. By telling folks I'm not perfect. And no, I'm not going to do everything right. No Christian does, right? And I think that that's one of the reasons why so many people have gravitated towards my channel and understood me on a greater dimension, because I am just not like a lot of the other people that are in this space. And I know some of you are friends with some of these other people in some of these other spaces. And I might say something on this program that might rub some of you the wrong way, but I want you to understand it's not coming from a malicious place. It's coming from a place of, I'm just so baffled by all of these people who claim to love God, love the church, love his people, who constantly and consistently live in a hypocritical state. I don't understand it. If you make a mistake, own it. If you do something that you don't have no business doing, own it. Instead of trying to gaslight grown people and tell grown people what they can think and what they're supposed to be focused on, and then to have the nerve to get angry at people because they profusely disagree with you about your assessment of a matter, because you deem yourself, because you are older, that some kind of way all of the other adults in the room have to become subject to whatever your thoughts are, because you are the quote unquote man or woman of God. Listen to me, and listen to me carefully. I have earned the right to look any man or any woman of God in the face and tell you, you are a liar. I have earned the right to look any individual in the face and tell them you're not telling the truth. Let me just stop and pause and say this right here. My brother and my sister, about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago, we were outside my sister's home, and we were sitting on the porch, and my father was sitting on the porch, and my brother and my sisters were going back and forth with my father. Now, I want you to understand the kind of child I am. I don't go back and forward and argue with my parents. Even if my parents are wrong, I don't typically go back and forth with them. I typically don't enter into that. Now, if I disagree, I will tell them why I disagree, and I will communicate in such a manner that my mother and my father will clearly know where I stand. So there is no need to constantly and consistently go back and forth. I'm not a snarty kid, or I'm not a snarty man when it comes to that kind of stuff. Well, my father and my sister and brother and all of them, my father's sitting on the porch. Now, the way this porch is made, you come out your front door, you go to the right, and, they have the front, the porch furniture sitting there, and there's a banister, kind of, I guess it would be an L-shaped banister. So when you walk in, my father's sitting at the far end of the porch, and he is sitting there, and he's drinking. Okay, he's drinking. And they get into a back and forth with my father about his choice of words, because my father at one particular point, my father told him to shut up. I'm the kind of kid, when my parents say shut up, I just shut up. Because I don't feel like arguing and going back and forth. That's just not my thing. And honestly, I believe the word of God. I believe that, listen, the Bible tells us to honor our parents. Even if our parents are some of the worst parents on the planet, I still show them some level of respect. That doesn't mean I'm going to allow you to disrespect me, but I'm going to respect you, and I'm going to honor your position, okay? And speaking of honoring position, stick a pin there. I will honor a person's position when they have shown themselves to be honorable. Okay. Part of the problems with the institutional church is, just because you put your bishop or apostle in front of your name, all of a sudden you just believe that you're supposed to get all of this respect and honor when you come into a room. And that's why we wear all of this garb and get up, all of this Catholic garb and all of these mitre hats and all of this foolishness. And we think in our minds, that stuff is holy. That stuff is borrowed from a Catholicism and a tradition that we as Protestants aren't even supposed to be participating in. We were supposed to have a Reformation, but I digress. I'm going to come back there later. But honoring my mother and honoring my father is something that I have done because the word of God commands us to do so, not just with our mouths, but also with our finance. Okay. And I don't believe in turning over my finance to a narcissistic, verbosely rude and disrespectful, supposed bishops and pastors. I will not be participating in anyone's game when they're using the court system as a game. It is ridiculous, and it is offensive. It is offensive for people to do these types of things, to go after mercilessly individuals that they know have absolutely nothing to do with whatever they have going on. Let me say this, and let me say this: whatever kind of situation that Bernard Jordan and Larry Reed has, that is their situation. They need to work that out amongst themselves, and hopefully they will do just that. Okay. I am finding it disgusting because of other individuals trying to ascertain and become experts on things that they know absolutely nothing about. And I just will not participate in their foolishness, and I want it to be clear and clearly understood. Hopefully you got what I said there. I respect my parents, and I respect them, and I respect them, and I respect the men and women of God who are deserving of respect. When you can enter into a room and be a normal person and not come with a haughty attitude and a high mindset. Can I tell y'all, which I was about to tell y'all, one of the major reasons why I left the institutional church, not because someone did something to me. I left because I did not have the right kind of mindset. Because the higher you go up in the institution, if you are not careful, you will let your attitudes and your dispositions get the better of you, and you will start mistreating the very people that you claim that God has called you to reach. If God called you to serve his people and to serve them, that is what you should be doing. You should not be attacking them. You should not be being disrespectful towards them. Can I tell you, I was talking to someone one day inside the sanctuary, and I heard myself talking to them. Have you ever had one of those experiences where you've been talking and you mess around and hear yourself talking, and the stuff coming out of your mouth sounds unfamiliar to you? I was talking to this person in such a way, I was like, this is not me. Now, of course, there was a lot of other things that were going on around the church. But one of the major reasons why I stepped away is because I didn't like my attitude. It was my attitude that made me say, wait a minute, something here ain't right. Marcellus, this is not you. And I was talking to this person because I had a leadership role and, da 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 da. And I was like, oh, no, this is not me. And I do not know why in the world I'm talking to this person like this. And I did not like myself in that moment. And I had to go and I had to pray and I had to talk to God like, Lord, this isn't me. And I don't want to be talking to the people that I'm supposed to be serving this way. Can you help me, Lord? Can you help me? You understand what I'm saying? I want to do better and I don't want to be like this. What's up, Janice? And so that's one of the major reasons why I stepped away. But what I find egregious is for people to get on the internet and become such an expert on things that they do not understand. Let me tell you first and foremost, there is, again, no legal process that has begun with my name attached to it. You can try and sue a ham sandwich. Just understand something. That is the process of a lot of these things, the way these people do things, right? I need for you all to understand that. Thank you, Janice, for your support. But that is not the case when it comes to me. I've often explained to you guys, I'm not new to it. I'm true to it. And I will not be bullied. I will not be disrespected. And I will not be brought into something that I have nothing to do with so that someone can use me to go after someone else. I will not do that. Okay. And I told you all from the beginning that that's what this was all about. And I refuse to participate. And I also am not going to be going back and forth with vloggers who obviously don't like me. They don't know me. They don't understand my character, what kind of person I am. But what I find to be interesting is that even in the midst of respecting these people, how nasty some of them are. Um, um, you know, I just refuse. I refuse. Now, you all have watched me, and you're going to continue to watch me over the months, continue to be kind, and I typically remain kind until I just get fed up. I have heard people in this space say all kinds of things. Wrong things. I mean, just things that they know they were lying about. And it's just, it's not my job to police. And let me say this, and I want you to hear me and hear my heart. Just like it is not my job to become the spiritual parole officer for believers, I am not the spiritual parole officer for the church, what folks are deeming as the church sector or space. That is not my job. My job is not to police everybody and to make sure everybody is telling the truth. What my job is to do is to be honest with you in this place and in this space, so that when you come to this space and to this place, you will recognize that I'm doing my very level best to give you the honest truth as I know it. Okay. And so, yes. And I want to take a pause. Speaking of speaking the truth, and something just hit my spirit. Lynn Pearson, Marilyn Hickey went home to be with the Lord yesterday. I don't know if many of you know that. Marilyn Hickey was a Bible teacher, and very well known amongst those of us who were surrounded with the ORU circle, and what some of you will deem as word of faith individuals. Marilyn Hickey has gone home to be with the Lord. She passed away yesterday. So I just wanted to make sure I say that. One of the people that helped me and that really helped me get into the word so much more as a child was Marilyn Hickey. Marilyn Hickey was great. And there were a lot more people surrounding that really helped me. But I think the word of faith has its issues as well. So yeah. But I just, speaking, she was always a humble person, truth telling person. And I pray for her daughter, Sarah, and her family, because that woman had a ministry for years and years and years and years. Still to this day, Marilyn Hickey Ministries is still going to this day, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm a 50-year-old man, and this woman was still going. She passed away at the age of 95 years old. So yeah, she definitely was living some kind of a life at 95 years old. But yeah, speaking truth is important, you all. And the only thing that I would simply say, truth matters, and not letting other people gaslight you, not letting people tell you what you should be focused on. As an adult, you should be able to look at all sides of the information as much as that can be delivered unto you. And you should do your very best. You understand what I'm saying? And Gerald, I appreciate you saying that. I really do appreciate you saying that. Well, and let me just say this, and I want it to be emphatically understood over here, because I know there's some vloggers in other spaces and places who do not agree with me about a lot of different things. A lot of this stuff that we as believers have held on to years and years and years, I have given to God, and I'm going to let God be the judge, and I'm not going to be judging these people. I don't know some people's entire life story. I don't know what goes on with some people in their lives, but I'm not going to be hating folks because the church says I'm supposed to hate them. I'm not participating in that. And thank God for Kev on stage, because thank God for other men stepping forward and just simply saying, you know what, we're just not in the business of hating people. Do we understand everything? No, but I'm not, and see, here's the crazy thing about church folks. Church folks try to claim that they do understand everything. You don't know everything because you got a Bible. Oh Lord, I'm sorry for laughing. Some people really believe because they got a Bible, they know everything. Are you stupid? Oh Lord, I'm sorry for laughing. Some people really believe because they got a Bible, they know everything. Are you stupid? 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 Are you stup I had a moment. I'm having a moment. Listen, I done read the Bible and I don't know everything. So how in the world you get to the place to where oh Lord, forgive me. I'm sorry. I don't know how y'all get to these places and spaces. Y'all better learn how to love people. Y'all better learn how to love people. You know what I'm saying? You better learn how to love people, because at the end of the day, that's what Jesus commanded us. And that was the greatest commandment that he gave us. He said that trumps everything. If it does not begin and end with love, you are outside of the will of God. I don't even care if you're in the book. Do you hear me? If it does not begin and end with love, you are outside of the will and the purposes of God, and you are fighting God at that particular point. And I'm not going to be fighting God, and I'm not going to be mistreating any of his creation, period. All right, now going back to my statement. Going through this whole situation has just been a situation that I've been able to sort of sit back and watch. I will not allow any vlogger to use my name for clout. I will not allow people to continue to do that. And like I told you guys, when the time comes, I will speak. And not only will I speak, but I will be putting out evidence. And so for the most part, I would advise everybody to just hush. I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid of anything. I just think this is childish and I refuse to participate. Period. That's all. Now, Brian Karn, let me speak about this because we're talking about preachers' lives being exposed. Brian Karn went around here for years telling folks, oh, I don't have no kids. I don't know what you're talking about. And I think the DOJ people have been watching these videos and these interviews of him. And I kind of think they're being a little petty because they put that in there on purpose, because they could have left that out. They didn't even have to put that child thing in there, but I'm grateful they did. And the reason why is because yet again, we can see a man standing in front of a congregation, speaking in tongues, shouting and dancing, all while living in hypocrisy. This is a man who for years and years and years, the church has propped up as being some sort of prophetic wonder. I and so many others have been warning people about Brian Karn. Now stick a pin there. Before Brian Karn got exposed with all of these women, we knew things about Brian Karn way back then, and we were heralding the message. And some of these people who are now saying the things about Brian Karn that they're currently saying, they were attacking me and others beforehand. They were attacking us and calling us all kinds of names and things. And we were trying to tell them Brian Karn is not what y'all think he is. He's not what y'all think he is. He's lying. My friend Leonard, the Truth Seeker, brother Leonard, I've had him up here on the platform before. For those of you that know Leonard did a whole video showing you Brian Karn reading people's envelopes and then going up front and calling their name and trying to pretend like he was prophesying. And those videos are still up on the internet. So this is not something that is made up. This is something that we know. When these preachers get exposed, when their secrets come forward, instead of them acknowledging it and owning it, and let me tell you one of the reasons why they don't acknowledge it and they don't own it. I'm going to give you a couple of reasons. Let me start here. If a preacher, most of these well-known preachers, and not even well-known preachers, I want you to hear me. Some local church pastors refuse to acknowledge their sins and their mistakes because they do not want to look as if they are not the most powerful person amongst the community, because they feel like they lose respect from the people, and they feel like they also lose the authority with the people, so they won't apologize. They won't repent. They won't step down because they know in their mind, if I do, it's going to cause me to look a certain way to the people. I want you to hear me. One of the most powerful things that Jesus and God has given us in our human experience is being able to admit when we were wrong and to say, I'm sorry. Let me tell you why that is. Because being able to say I'm sorry is is something that will bring humility. It is some, and one of the reasons why I left the institution was because of the pride I saw in myself. Right? No one sat me down. I sat myself down because I was like, "Oh no, Marcellus, you can't be talking like you talking. You can't be coming into the sanctuary mad because your reserved seat, somebody's sitting in your chair, and you have to go get some usher or go get some security person to grab them and to have them escorted out. You understand that kind of stuff? It's just ridiculous. But that's what church has become, literally, especially if you're in a mega church. But all of this lying and gaslighting. But God gave us humility for a reason. And humility comes a lot of times because of humiliation. I want you to hear me and hear me well. Humility comes a lot of times because of humiliation, but humiliation is to bring you to a place of humbleness so that you can understand how necessary God is in your life and how you need to be humble and have some level of humility. God uses humility to keep us in a position so that we can recognize and understand our necessity for Him. Can y'all please hit the like button? Come on, don't do me dirty like that. Y'all got 60 likes and we got 119 folks. Now we got 123. Y'all please hit the like button, please. But humility is important. And as much as I talk a lot of smack, I try to remain humble, even in the midst of if I'm wrong in a situation. And that's why I don't understand why some of these other vloggers, instead of them being respectful, they take it upon themselves to try to present themselves in a way that is so dishonorable to me. How you on the internet talking about telling folks, oh, folks is coming after you. You better close your mouth. You better not say nothing. How are you going to do that when you're losing legal cases left to right? You're in no moral position to be telling nobody what they're supposed to be doing. You should be somewhere hushing and being quiet and asking God to give you wisdom so you can navigate your way through the circumstances that you're facing. Say what now? I have listened to people say just horrendous things. And I said, and I say to myself, Lord, why do these people not understand the amount of respect that I have for this space? I'm not being respectful because I am a respectful person, but I'm also respecting a lot of these other people in this space, even when they disrespect me a lot of times, because I respect the space that we're in, but I also understand the power of the space that we're in. And these people have been after our influence and after the things that we are doing, but you cannot stop what God has determined and destined to bless. You understand what I'm saying? Wrong, right, or indifferent, however you feel about vloggers are not going anywhere. People are not going to go anywhere just simply because you don't like us or because you're upset at us, because we are calling out things. And some of you have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to feel like you're in such a spiritual position that we do not have the right to speak up or to say something. Some of you have the nerve to refer to yourselves as Moses. And I mean, you take all of the biblical patriarchs and start trying to interject yourself into the scripture as if you're Moses or David, and that some kind of way God is going to strike us down because we're telling the truth, not a lie. Now, I'm not saying everybody on the internet is telling the truth, but I'm saying the truth. But the truth will never be diminished. The truth will never be beaten up by liars and people who tell lies. And what you're gonna end up doing is going to court and being made to look like a fool instead of using wisdom and just saying, you know what, let me go on about my business because this ain't even worth it. Financially, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. And I know people are mad. And I know folks is upset, but I refuse to let anyone bring me into anything that I have nothing to do with. And I'm saying what I'm saying for a reason. I told y'all I wanted to come on here so bad and cuss all of these people out. Oh, yes, I did. And yes, I do. And everybody who knows me, y'all know I got a lethal mouth. And I can listen here. I can send out lethal tongue bullets as fast as you can say my baloney has a first name. And I wanted to let these folks know. And God said, Marcellus, what are you going to do that for? I said, well, Lord, because I take my problems to the Lord. I don't get the luxury of doing what other folks do. I take my problems to the Lord. Okay, Lord, this is what they're doing. Okay, well, this is what I want you to do. Okay, Lord, I'll obey. And all I'm doing right now is obeying. I speak when I want to speak. I say things when I want to say them, not because of anything, but I say them when I feel the need to say them. Brian Carn is a despicable man. Most of the preachers surrounding this space are despicable people. I'm sorry. From what I have been able to see, and now that I've experienced what I've experienced, I literally regret helping Bernard Jordan. I literally regret bringing him on this platform, giving him an opportunity to speak, because this man is a verbosely stupid individual, in my opinion. All of this prophecy foolishness and all of this muff, you understand, it is ridiculous. All of this stuff, man, all because somebody wants to be looked upon a certain kind of way, when all you have to do is go somewhere and sit down. Just like I told Larry to go somewhere and sit down. Both of these people should have just went somewhere and sat all the way down. But we are in a space being hijacked by people who do not understand the importance of living with integrity and honesty. And I'm sorry. Let me just say this so I can make sure it's emphatically understood. I don't live in a closet. Although I have a number of closets over here, I don't live in none of them. There's no closet for me to live in. I'm a 50-year-old man. And I realize that, people come by spaces and places, and because they're not accustomed to certain individuals, and, they say all kinds of ridiculous mess. And I just learned on the internet now to block and delete you, because you guys are really crazy. I'm so honest and transparent. If my life was any way different than the way that it is now, I would tell you. I would literally tell you. If it was in the past, I would have told you. I'm just telling you. I regret letting these people up on my platform, because with all honesty, I realize that a lot of people in this space are in the LGBTQIA community. I don't have anything against their community. I love and respect them all. But this is some mess. All of this is some mess that I don't want to have anything to do with. And I'm pissed on some level, because I feel like I have given them in times past. Well, see, let me just say this. I realize why the idiot did what he did, because he don't know me. Bernard came over here into a space trying to tell folks what to do and what we're supposed to talk about and how we're supposed to talk about it. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And then you go on a world tour disrespecting other vloggers and calling us out by name. Isn't that a mess? Just disgusting. And I'm disgusted by it. But I regret helping and supporting this man. And I'm pretty sure Manasseh regrets ever giving me a cash app, or what it was, that a super chat. I'm sure he probably regrets the fact that he did it, because in his mind, he probably thinks that I hate them, and I don't. I'm just a different type of dude. I'm not that kind of Christian. I'm not a Christian who plays games. And I'll be honest with you, who's that? Mike Williams. You guys have seen Mike Williams on this platform. When I talk to Mike like a real person. We don't have these pretense, you know what I'm saying? We don't have these ridiculous type of conversations. What's up, Dr. Ben Israel? I appreciate you. Thank you. You understand? And I know he will, and I know he will. But it's just the fact of sometimes having to go through stuff that you don't have nothing to do with, and folks are just vicious, and vile, all while claiming to be Christians. It just blows my mind at times. I'm not perfect. I'm imperfect, but I tell y'all that. Can I get 30 of y'all to please hit the like button, please? I need at least 30 of y'all to hit the like button. I'm not a vicious person like that. I'm serious, y'all. I don't get down like that. Like, and let me go back to the story, because I didn't even finish my story. I was telling y'all about my father, my brother and sister, and them. I got off track. So my father and my brothers, and my father was sitting on the porch one day, and I wanted to tell y'all this for a reason. My brother and my sisters, and brothers and sisters, plural. I think at that particular time I was leaning up against my youngest brother's car, who's gone home to be with the Lord. I think he had backed his car into the driveway. I was either leaning up against his car, or I was like in the middle of the yard. I can't remember where I was. But they were going ham on my father. I mean, they were just saying all kinds of things to him that I would never fix my lips to say. When I tell you, they were going in on my father. They were going in on my father. And while sitting there watching my father with some alcohol try and defend himself, and he was hanging in there with him for a minute, and to the point he did what most parents do: just shut up. He told my brothers and sisters, he told them all, shut up, close your mouth. And I watched my brother and my sister get so emotional and start to literally, my sister started to cry. I could see in my brother's face, because you know how we are as guys. Normally when we get emotional, we start looking up at the ceiling, So I saw my brother start looking up at the sky, and I was like, oh, shucks. And then I spoke up and I said, you know what? I think everybody needs to just stop talking. And I try to be the kind of person in my family and amongst, primarily my family. I try to really speak when it can be used for the betterment of all of us, because I know in most cases when we're all gathered together, something's going to go awry. And I don't want to be contributory to that type of situation. I want to be somebody who can bring peace to the situation. So I choose my words carefully. And I've always done that. Even on this internet, I choose my words carefully. So if you get cussed out on the internet by me, it's probably because you have really done something. You know what I mean? Really done something. And you've probably done it for months, to the point to where I'm just like, okay, I've had enough. And I saw my father sit there with his children, speaking to him in a way about things that they felt like that our father had done to them that made their lives difficult. And I sat there and I stood there thinking to myself how often those of us go to God and we speak to our Father in a way that is so disrespectful and so dishonorable. Because imagine you standing at the foot of your Father and speaking to your Father in such a way. It blows my mind. And it blows my mind because although I realize my parents were not perfect and nobody's perfect, I could never fix my lips to speak to my parents in a way that I think is so dishonorable. Do you know what I think is also dishonorable? A dishonorable life. I think you dishonor your parents when you live a dishonorable life. As a man, I'm just talking about me now. I'm just talking about me. I ain't talking about y'all. If I was out here slinging it, whether it be drugs or whatever else I could slang. You let your imagination run wild there. If I was out here slinging it and bringing people over to the family and introducing them to a new one every week, every other weekend, a lot of people in society, they deem that is, they wear that as a badge of honor. I do not. I do not wear it as a badge of honor to do those types of things. I just don't. I don't. I really don't. And whatever I'm going to do, I'm not going to do it and put it on display, especially as a Christian. What kind of nerve would you have to be putting it on display? On display. You ought to have, what's the word for you all? You ought to have some level of reservation and some level of, just respectability to not want to dishonor the body of Christ by just putting yourself out there like that. You ought to just want to, you understand what I'm saying? You ought to not want to be that kind of person. They were talking to my father in such a way that I just was standing there shaking my head. And I was watching my sister cry. And I was watching my sister cry. And I said to her, I said, you need to learn how to get control of your emotions so that they can't do this to you, or he can't. Because I saw another one of my sisters do it to I have a sister who is on my father's side, who's behind me. She's younger than me. I have a younger sister, and then I had a baby brother. My baby brother was the one who was, the world traveling exotic dancer. So and then I've got brothers and sisters that are younger than them. Okay, because my father had my father has a set of twins that came behind my other brother, which and this is a long story, y'all. A lot of kids, just a lot of children, and they were all standing there going ham. How dishonorable is it for you to be a lying preacher or lying man of God who can dishonor your parents? Do you not realize that Brian Carn dishonors his mother with the way he lives? He dishonors her. He dishonors his father. Not just our heavenly father, but he dishonors his parents. You running around here, sleeping with all of these young women and then turning around and stealing all of this money. And you did it on purpose. Now, see, here's the thing, too, that gets me. Brian Carn did all of this on purpose. Now, you can sit around there and play all of this tax error crap that you want to. Even after pleading guilty, he should have had somebody to go through that last tax return with a fine-tooth comb. He has the financial means to do so, but he still turned in you understand what I'm saying? Oh, Lord. Clorinda, I didn't know this. Clorinda says, your brother was the entertainment for my party in the 90s. Oh, my God. Well, I'm sure you got a show because my brother was a mess. Believe it or not, Clorinda, my brother was a mess. Even when he was a kid, Sean was a mess. But anyway, Sean was a mess. And I love my brother. Oh, my God, how sad I was. Listen here. He dishonors his parents. It's not no accounting error, for you to keep filing tax return after tax return, knowing full darn well that you're lying and you're not telling the truth. And see, let me say something too. I've the whole reason why I left North Carolina. Let me tell you something, Clorinda. This real talk. I was walking down the street one day in Cleveland Projects. I'm trying to think of what street that was. If you're familiar with the projects and you can refresh my memory. What street was the rec center on, the community? Because my father and my stepmother lived on that same street. And they lived next to a guy. I ain't gonna say what his nickname was, but don't make me. But his nickname was P. Paul, but we called him, the P stood for something. But I ain't gonna say what it stood for. But but I was walking down the street one day, and a girl came up to me. I think, it was a girl. She came up to me. She said, "You're my brother, right?" When I tell you, everything in me was like in shock. I was like, my father had so many children. Some of them, there's one brother I think still to this day I haven't yet to meet personally in person. I've never met him, which is crazy. I got to go home to meet him though, but that's a whole nother situation. Well, I'm serious. But you think I'm gonna be out here living some old damnable life? I made a decision as a teenager what my life was gonna look like, and that's real talk. I made a decision as a teenager what my life was gonna look like. And Brian Carn has dishonored his mother. He's dishonored his father. You going around here lying on your taxes and stealing from the American people. I didn't want to be that kind of dude. I could stop the Mad Churches East channel today, close it down, shut it down, and be somewhere with a microphone in my hand raising some money tomorrow. Dr. Ben says East 15th Street. Okay. So that must have been 15th Street. Because I know 14th Street is up where the Zesto used to be. Boy, I'm saying some names now. Y'all probably, if you're from North Carolina and you old school, you know where these places were. Because the Zesto used to be on 14th Street. So it must have been 15th Street. Because my grandmother, the woman that I knew as my grandmother, she lived in the projects too. Dr. Ben, let me tell you something. I am not ashamed of where I come from. I'm not ashamed to speak the way that I speak, because we need real Christians and real people who speak like real people and stop playing all of these pretense and these games in church. Brian Carn, Larry Reed, Bernard Jordan, what's his name? Justin Edwards, all of these so-called people that surrounding all of this situation. These people need to learn how to get some level of transparency and just be real with people. Because like I said to my private chat, a lot of people are going to end up being exposed. A lot of folks are going to end up being exposed, and they're going to be exposed because you can't live in hypocrisy and think that's okay. You can't continue to preach from the Bible. And I don't care that other gospel artists and other people are able to be behind the scenes and live the lives that they live, all while singing gospel music. Let me be very clear. God will use a donkey to bless it. If God can use a donkey to bless his people, he can use anybody to bless his people. But how you choose to live, how you choose to love, and how you choose to treat people in this life is what matters. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't know that, Dr. Ben Israel. We got to talk about that. I didn't know that, because, you know, man, I was all up and through them projects. I lived in almost every project except I think I never lived in Happy Hill Gardens. I think because Happy Hill was dangerous. Like I forget which one my grandmother lived in. I think my grandmother might have lived in Happy Hill at one particular point in time. But oh no, I refuse to live in Happy Hill Gardens. I went over there, Dr. Ben Israel. I asked them to drive me through the projects just so I could see it. The last time I was at home to visit, we were driving through there and the gunshots was ringing out. Oh Lord, you should have seen my mother ducking and carrying on in the car. And I was driving. I was like, okay, mama, we're leaving. Because I was like, we're getting out of here. They literally was firing while we were driving through there. I said, oh my God. But I don't want to be a dishonorable man. And Brian Carn, if you get the privilege of preaching the gospel and the honor of being anointed by God, and I don't think a lot of these people are anointed. And let me tell you, to me, what the anointing does. The anointing produces results. And let me tell you the strength of a strong church and a strong assembly of people. It's when the pastor doesn't preach, the people still come and sit and learn and grow. That the ministry is not built around a personality or a person, that it's built around Christ. That's how you know you have a mature ministry. If everybody's going talking about, oh, well, I don't want to hit a word today because our pastor ain't here. If that's a surefire signal that your people have not been mature to the point to where they understand the importance of the gathering of themselves and understanding the fellowship of the saints, right? And what we have going on a lot on this internet and in most institutional churches today is immature people who church hop, who go from one place to the other. They're always looking for a new word from the Lord. Who's the new wonder? Who's the new speaker that's hot on the scene, that's preaching a word and all of this kind of stuff? Let me tell you something. I don't look for nobody but Jesus. You hear me? I'm not looking for no gospel wonder. I'm not looking for no new person who's coming and impressing the people. Because let me tell you something. The more you go up in the Christian community, the more games you have to play. All of these people that you see on television and that you see crisscrossing the country and getting all these speaking engagements, these people are not immune to behaving in manners that are not conducive to the ways and the things that God would demand of us. I don't care who it is. I don't care how saved they sound. I don't care how. Don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. From the least to the greatest of these people, they are all people, and you need to understand that. And they are subject to be used. They are subject to become money hungry. They are subject to want certain things done a certain kind of way so that they can get away with a certain kind of thing. Let me tell you something. If you're housing your lover, all while being married, don't come preaching to me about nothing. You better take your nappy headed behind on somewhere. That's what you better do. If you housing your lover, paying your lover's expenses and paying for things for your lover, and you're going to be sitting up talking about somebody need to do this and do that, you better go somewhere and sit down. And there is no man on the earth that intimidates me. And I guess you can call that whatever you want to call it, but I don't get intimidated like that. I'm not that kind of dude. I got 150 of y'all here. Can y'all please hit the like button, please? Because I really just wanted to come on and just have this conversation. I don't disrespect honorable people. And regardless of what your parents do, they're still on some level deserve some honor. Now, I'm not saying for you to take disrespect, because I love having this conversation with one of my moderators. I won't say no name. But we have a great conversations when it comes to respecting our parents and not allowing our parents to disrespect us, because some people feel like I don't care. And as a son, I have to tell you, there are certain things that I've experienced maybe over the last 3 to 4 years, you all, that has broken my heart, like literally broken my heart. And last night, because I was up, just talking to the Lord and just sharing some things with the Lord about some personal things. And you know what the Lord said to me? Seriously, he said, Marcellus, you're not going to want to admit it, but you literally are walking around with a broken heart because of this situation. And I remember when the Lord kind of said that to me about having a broken heart, and it kind of triggered something in me. And I said, well, you know what? You're right. I said, I'm brokenhearted because of the way that some things are being done. I said, but Lord, I didn't create this situation. And sometimes when you don't create a situation, you just don't know what to do or how to handle the situation. And in a personal situation I'm dealing with right now, I didn't create it. I didn't create any situation in regards to my parents. I didn't create any situation. I tried to live a life that where I didn't have to come to them and ask them for $1, a dime, or a nickel. My mother's never gave me $5. My father's never gave me $5, except for when I was a child. And he didn't even give me them $5. He gave that $5 to my mama. He didn't give me the $5. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know what's wrong with people. I've never gotten $5 from my parents. I've never gotten $5 from my father. Have I struggled in and out of struggle a lot of times in life? Absolutely. I think I'd be stupid to say no. You're talking to a man that went from making a tremendous amount of money to hardly making nothing and not even being able to fully yet recover. But I'm surely not going to allow somebody to misuse and abuse me all while they're going after a vendetta against somebody else. No, no, sir, no, ma'am. Shout out to you all supporting the channel. I just need 8 more of you all to support the channel today. Shout out to you. I'm not going to call your name, but you know who you are. Y'all listen to me. No. And we'll have a conversation, a real one, very, very soon. Soon and very, very soon. Because I'm not participating with foolishness. Not at all. Shout out to all of you in the chat. Listen, I got a tape over here with Brian Carn. I haven't even put it out. I'm not even going to put it out. It's just, people just, I don't have time. I just don't have time. I really don't. I don't have time. Shout out to you, Betty Ellick. And let me just say this. For all of you that are new to this channel, shout out to you. Please hit the subscribe button. To all of my old faithfuls who've been with me from day one, thank y'all so much. You all do not realize how much you all mean to me. I want to appreciate you and just say thank you. And I'm not just saying these words. I want y'all to really hear me. I appreciate you. And I thank you. To all of the subscribers of this channel, thank y'all so much. To all of the members who help undergird this channel, thank you guys so very much. I was going to go live on Friday night, but I was so tired because you guys know I do a lot of work other than this stuff. And Daryl, I told Daryl, I said, Daryl, man, I'm going to go live. I said, but Daryl, I'm tired. You know what Daryl said? Daryl said, Marcellus, get some rest. And I said, you know what? You're right. Because I had put the thumbnail up and scheduled the thing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go live. Daryl said, no, Marcellus, just go get some rest. And I said, you know what, you're right. I said, that's what I need to do. And so I've been resting. You know what is so crazy, Gerald? I'm gonna be honest. All these people that was talking all this smack about Larry this and Larry this and Larry ain't this and oh, him and Bernard this and him and Bernard that. As soon as they found out that Bernard Jordan was available, baffles my mind. It was like a light switch. One day it was one way and the next day's flip, they flipped the switch. I said, this is some crazy stuff right here to behold. But I'm so glad they did it because it just showed me I gave some people a whole lot more character and intelligence than they actually deserved. I really did. And that was my bad. That really was my bad. Because I respect this space. I was going over supporting the smallest of channels. People that when I would come over would have 3 and 4 and 5 people. And I was sitting in their live, listening to their live, supporting them, only to hear these people say things and disrespect me in such a manner. It blew my mind. Had people up on this platform that, you know, just kept saying things and going after me in a way that I have to be honest with you. It shocked me. And some people will say, well, Marcellus, why would you be hurt by it? You know, because I'm not what some of these people think. They look at me as some angry dude that I'm always angry. I'm angry at liars and backbiters and people who do a whole bunch of foolishness. Yeah, I'm angry at that, but I'm not angry at these people. I genuinely want them to do well, but I'm disgusted by their behavior. William McCrae is a liar. Do you all hear the words that are coming out of my mouth right now? I want you to hear me and hear me well. He is a despicable liar, and I've always known him to be a liar. And not just in this instance, but this man is a despicable liar. All because folks want to create a narrative instead of just humbling themselves. But I realize when you've created a facade and a persona, you have to keep it up, and you'll fight to keep it up. I'm just saying, you'll fight to keep it up. Listen here, Gerald. I don't care nothing about these folks. I'm gonna be totally honest, and it makes people mad. People be mad that I'm not mad. Like, why are you mad at me? Because I ain't mad. I'm just living my life like it's golden. Now I'm gonna tell you one thing. Things will turn into rage if I have to be forced into something that I don't have nothing to do with. Then you're gonna talk about a rageful nigga. Oh, I'm gonna be a rageful nigga then, because I don't have nothing to do with all of these people's foolishness. Yeah, they all thrive on it, Betty. They really truly do, and they will never admit they do. They thrive on it. And you know what they also thrive on? They thrive on the mistreatment of others. I mean, just look at this space. Some of you have a vlogger in this space who claims to be in the church space, and all they do is pick on other people. That's all they do. Pick, 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 pick. And they say, "Oh, well, I'm just do this and I'm gonna do this." No, no, no. I'm not. That's just not me. God bless them. I'll say what I need to say, but I'm not going to be picking with people all day and all night and going after people. And if that makes me a sucky dude on the internet, non-entertaining, I guess I'm going to be non-entertaining, because I'm not going to be going out to these people, because that ain't me. It's just not me. Now, because I came back to the internet on 2019 and I came in to help Daryl Moore with a situation with a long back salamander, lion salamander, and all those people that surrounded that situation, and we fought for years on this here internet. 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. We didn't start this foolishness roughly in about 2023. You all think about that. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Well, I'm gonna count 2020 really, because it was December of 2019 is when I met Daryl. So, and we got on this internet and just fussing and fussing and fussing. And now that I think about, things in retrospect, I say to myself, man, I said all of that was ego, male ego. If I'm going to be honest, male ego. I'm not going to let you get on this internet and keep going and saying this. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. No, sir. No, sir. No, ma'am. Now, that don't mean in the future I won't get some of these suckers and these jive turkeys, especially if they keep doing some of the stuff that they're doing. But okay. But Daryl's already said I don't have to worry about it. Daryl's going to take care of it. And when Daryl gets on the case, you're done. That's all I'm gonna say. And I listen. And people say, "Well, Marcellus, why you don't say nothing to Daryl?" Listen, Daryl is grown, and you should have kept your mouth closed. That's what you should have did. And you think some of these people think they slick. And when Daryl digs, he digs so that he finds out what you had for breakfast. And it's listen here. It's Jesus. It's a horrible job. It's a horrible job. He puts in that work. I'm just saying. But Brian Carn has been lying for years. And now we're seeing it, and we're pulling back the covers of these layers of all of his lies and hypocrisy. Where are Brian Carn's children? He's such a dishonorable man that he won't even honor his children. What kind of life does a preacher live to where he can't even honor his children in public? Where's Brian Carn's Christmas cards with him and his children on it? Oh, he can't do that, right? Because people are going to start asking questions of what kind of preacher. What would it look like for Brian Carn to be honest and transparent? What would it look like for some of these pastors and preachers to be honest and transparent? I don't want a pastor who can't be transparent. I don't want a leader who can't be transparent and honest. I want a leader who can come to get to church and say, I'm having a little rough morning this morning, and my wife and we had a little altercation, on the way coming to church this morning. And I want to publicly apologize, because I said some things. I want transparency. I want a person who's a real person. People are tired of people trying to play roles and pretend like you the 67th book in the Bible. And we all got to bow down to you. No, we're all living epistles to be read of men. And I hopefully didn't ramble on too much, but that's just how I feel. He's a dishonorable man. What a dishonorable man. Let alone a preacher. Forget the preaching part. Throw the preaching part out. Brian Carn is a dishonorable man. You got children that you don't honor. And if you don't honor the children, I'm quite sure you don't respect the mothers of those children or child. You don't understand what I'm saying? You're a dishonorable man. How are you going to be calling yourself a bishop and you're dishonorable? You live such a hypocritical life and you're dishonorable, and you try to drag folks into stuff that don't have nothing to do with nothing. That is so dishonorable. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But you all, I don't like it. And I think it's crazy. Just dishonorable, Betty. And I'm not sitting up on no high horse because I'm not perfect, and I done told y'all that. But I know one thing. I would not be preaching to you about living a sustained life, an abstained life, and then coming out here and having babies out of wedlock and woman after woman come forward and be like, yeah, be like Ryan Chandler. Yeah, we were frucking. Y'all know what Ryan Chandler said. Y'all know what he said on this channel. Ryan Chandler said, yeah, we was doing it. And these dishonorable men, just crazy to me. Shout out to all of you, 143 of you. Can y'all get me to at least 125 likes? I would really appreciate it. But at the end of the day, when the time comes for me to lay some things out, I'll lay it out for you all. Because there will be a day when I'm able to tell you guys a whole bunch of stuff. Because, see, I talk to preachers all across this country. And see, most of these folks come to me because they know I'm going to keep their secrets and I won't say anything, which I don't. I'm not like the rest of these vloggers. I don't come out here taking things that preachers have said to me and coming to the internet. That's why people confide in me. Oh my God. You all trust me. That's why they do it. Yeah, you know what I need for them to do, Gerald, is just be honest with themselves and stop lying to themselves. Because let me tell you something. In order to live a real, true, authentic life, the first thing you got to do is stop lying to yourself. You got to say who you are to you and understand who you are to you. And you're right, April. The sad part is the members keep coming every week. You're right. Shout out to Ann for becoming a new member. Shout out to you, Ann. And keep in mind, you guys, if you have a membership, I appreciate you. Please make sure you renew your membership. That's what helps to undergird the channel and making sure that I don't have to come on here and cry to pay for all of this stuff. You know what I did yesterday too, you guys? I was going through all of my subscriptions. Here's what I want y'all to do. If you haven't done this, go through your bank account and your wallet and your ATM card and find out all the subscriptions you have and find out all the stuff that you're paying for on a monthly basis. For real, for real. Man, I went through my phone yesterday. My God from Zion. I said, oh, I can't wait to cancel this and this and this. I said, all this stuff about to go bye-bye. Oh, this stuff about to leave here. In Jesus' name, I'm about to get rid of some stuff. And that's the truth. But listen, just because I come on the internet and I talk doesn't mean I'm not going through personal stuff. I've been going through some for the past, what, 6 months? That's real talk. Probably longer than that. But it's not something I created. It's not something I did. I don't have no control over it. And the Lord was like, well, Marcellus, you don't have to fix it. And it pains me to be in this position because I'm always the one that's like, okay, let me go fix it. And then I end up spending all my money to go fix something for somebody else. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I got to let people make their choices. And can I just tell you, for the rest of 2026, can you allow people in your life to make their choices and let them live with the choices that they made? Stop trying to fix everybody else's problem. Because, see, part of my thing, too, is when I come on the internet, and one of the reasons why I was trying to help Bernard was because I didn't like the way I felt like Larry was taunting him in a way. I was like, you know what? Just go somewhere and go to your neutral corner and shut up. And then to bring this man up on this platform, for this man to completely, I feel, profoundly disrespect and dishonor me the way he did, all while calling himself a bishop in the Lord's church. You're not talking to nobody, sir. I pastored a church. Sir, are you kidding me? I've been preaching since I was 15 years old. I have been preaching since I was 15 years old. And you think for 1 minute that I'm going to allow you to come up here and disrespect me? You must be kidding. I don't walk into rooms just being appreciative to be there. That's just not mine. Now, I do walk into the room and appreciate being there, but I also understand the value that I bring into all of the spaces and the places that I go to. Now, it may sound like an arrogant statement, but I'm just being honest. I don't participate in nothing unless it's going to grow and go up. And there are just some people that I would never work with, period, anyway. I would not be named among them. Let me go grab my Kim Burrell tongue. Hedobosa. Ho. And that's my that's my Kim Burrell tongue. Hedobosa. What'd she say? Oh Lord, help me, Jesus. I don't want to go there. I'm serious, y'all. I ain't participating with these people in this foolishness, but I appreciate every single one of y'all. Y'all do me a favor. Don't fall for the okie doke. And don't let people gaslight you. I'm surprised that people even listen to William Eli so much. I really am. I really am. I'm surprised. I used to watch William. I don't even do it no more. God, that's the God's honest truth. I don't even watch a couple of people in this space no more because I know William's gonna lie. And I know these other folks are gonna lie. And if they're not going to lie, they're going to get in their private groups and private areas and they're going to lie because that's what they do. They lie. And I had a lady that used to call into our radio program all the time. And she used to say, this is what she used to say. I kid you not. She would say, sinners do what sinners do. And I say, you know what? That's just the truth. It really is the truth. Sinners do what sinners do. Liars do what liars do. That's what they do. And I mean, I don't have a great expectation for them to do otherwise. Now, y'all want me to tell you some of the things that I think, hey, Angie, y'all want me to tell you what I think is going to happen? First of all, I think Brian Carnes going to jail. That's number one. Is he going to get a lengthy sentence? I don't know. Listen here, Dr. Ben, I don't watch him either. Trust me, I don't watch him. And I'll be honest with you. Well, I ain't even gonna go there right now. That's another conversation for another day. Listen to me. I think William is funny at times. He can be entertaining when he doesn't slow down his speech to the point to where it puts you to sleep. Like Bernard Jordan, they need to learn how to speak up and talk regular because I don't like all of that slow dragging speech. That's annoying as crap. And I do understand the name for it. As far as Bernard is concerned, because I think Bernard is a little bit more well-read than William. I understand what kind of speech that is, and I understand what it's designed to do. So when you talk to me, I'm gonna definitely tell you to speed up, because I'm not gonna, you're not gonna rock me to sleep. Speed up and talk normal, because I ain't got time for all that. But why anybody would listen to William, I don't know. That's like sitting and listening to Andrew Caldwell and Kobe Mitchell. I would never sit and listen to them. Yeah, Lord, yeah, Lord, yeah, Lord. I'm not listening to that foolishness. And we got to stop that. We really do. We have to stop watching these train wrecks and supporting these train wrecks. We really do. I mean, it's not adding anything to us. I mean, it's surely not adding nothing to me. I love and appreciate every single one of y'all. Thank y'all for listening to me. I appreciate it. Um, that's all I have for today. These people are going to keep being exposed. And in not too many days, we're going to learn a whole lot more. I promise you that. And people having these vendettas and thinking they're going to, oh God, give me a break. That's all I have for them. That's it. Shout out to all of you that support. The one where he had on that red thing where he was trying to look like Karen Clark Sheard. Ooh, that made me so mad. Y'all don't realize that year the look he was going for was the Karen Clark Sheard look, because that's that same year Karen Clark had that same red thing, and he went after trying to look like Karen. That annoyed me to no end. It really did. Shout out to Janice for supporting the channel. I appreciate you, Janice. Shout out to Ann for getting a membership. I appreciate you. Um, Shout out all of you guys. Okay, well, I'll drop the link for you. Because I kind of know something. Let me tell y'all something. Okay, I'm gonna drop this link, and I do want you to come up, Dario, and let me tell you why. I have a friend who is why do I, oh, there it is, who is in the Pilgrim Assemblies thing. He was working for Bishop Hudson. He texted me the other day. I'm dropping this link for Dariel because you know something I don't. Because see, here's the thing. My friend who works over there at Powerhouse, I told y'all I got friends everywhere. He texted me the other day, and I have seen him post some things online. Okay, I love you too, Brenda. I love y'all too. I mean that. I really do. Y'all don't realize. I really, really mean that. That isn't, man, I wish I could tell y'all everything that I've been facing and going through, but y'all have no idea. I'm trying to figure out how to take this off the screen. How do I take this off? Hide. Thank you. Okay. That link is for Dariel. Dariel, come up here. All right, I know it's you, so now I can let you in. All right, because I can't let you in unless I know it's you, sir.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, sir? We need to have a conversation. My friend, no, real talk. My friend texted me the other day. He's been making subliminal posts on Facebook too, because when people are upset, they start doing these subliminal posts. So I reached out to him either yesterday night or the night before. I said, because he asked me, he said he's so mad about something. He said, "You're going to need to interview me in the future."
Ooh, okay.
And I said, well, my door is always open for you, et cetera, et cetera. And so when he said that, and then the other day he came back with another post, and I'm not going to say what the post said, because then y'all will be going down my timeline trying to figure out who it is. I said, oh, something done went down over there. Something has majorly went down over there. Because my friend, when I tell you he's over there at Powerhouse and been over there at Powerhouse for a long time, for a little bit of while, something done happened over there. And I don't know what happened now. Can you allegedly tell me anything?
I don't know. I was just coming to just gloat and joke about the meat parade over the last weekend. People been calling me saying, "Are you looking at what's going on in Chicago with this Pilgrim Assembly and these clergy's wearing this Catholic mess and just cutting up?"
Oh no! I was trying to tell you because something done happened over there at Bishop William Hudson's church. I don't know what done happened. Uh,
Oh, okay.
um,
I know there is a little bit of, I don't want to say conflict, but they just consecrated Byron Fraser. They consecrated a couple people there that are like big names in Chicago. So there's this name Byron T. Fraser, a bishop, elected bishop within their assembly,
mm,
which is a little bit shocking to me because uh, Arthur and Brazier, his dad, was a longtime bishop within the PAW, going
mm,
back decades. And I was kind of like, well, no, not necessarily, because that church left the PAW, if I'm not mistaken, right after Bishop Brazier's passing. But I was still like a little shocked that
mm.
he went to that assembly, and then they just appointed another person in Chicago. I know his name. Oh, I forgot.
But isn't Bernard Jordan a part of the Pilgrim Assemblies? Isn't he
Uh,
over there with them too?
uh-uh.
Well, why Bishop Roy? But Bishop Roy Brown was the thing for Pilgrim Assemblies, right? Wasn't he over the Pilgrim Assemblies?
He
William,
was,
yeah, and
yeah,
William Hudson is now the chief prelate over that, right?
which is crazy.
Now pause. Bernard Jordan is a part of that organization.
Is he really?
I've
Okay.
seen him with those people. Now maybe he's not or he's no longer, but I've heard him referred to Roy Brown and them as being, his bishop or whatever. But
Hmm.
maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
I just saw a lot of like different intersectional sects of Pentecostalism at this assembly, and just all of their royal robes and just I'm like, they had like a show run, and they were getting oil out of the show run, and saying like, oh, this is, you get the anointing from the ram's head. I'm like, no, this is biblical. This is just a giant parade of foolishness. That's why all my friends would text me like, are y'all looking at this? Like, this is
Mm.
kind of weird.
Well,
It's getting
yeah, when I was on the radio, I had a really famous statement. I used to say the Catholic Church has had a baby, and I would always end with good night. I would end the radio by saying the Catholic Church has had a baby, good night. And I want to tell y'all something. That's exactly okay. See what I'm saying? I thought so. Dr. Bia says
Oh,
he was consecrated by a Roy Brown. Uh-huh.
how many spiritual fathers does that dude have? Because wasn't Reverend Ike his spiritual father?
Listen here, my eyebrow is raised at all of these men. I'm just here to tell you, if these people are an example of that organization, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't say what I want to say online, but I think there's a whole bunch of DL activity going along over there at that Pilgrim Assemblies
Oh,
mess.
I believe so too. And
Uh,
then, yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm gonna leave it there.
Mm-hmm. Because who they have as a pastor, I'm like, mm-mm,
That's all
mm-mm.
I'm gonna say on that note. And I'm just saying all of this hypocrisy and all these people. And then you know what I've come to understand, Darrell? We keep arguing about, well, where's the power in the church? Oh, there's a reason why there's no power. I
Yeah,
know why there's no power now. I
yeah.
used to question it, but now I know for sure why there isn't.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. And you touched on it with the Kevin on stage thing, and I'm just seeing all these Christians got their panty in a bunch with his statement. I'm like, he's literally saying biblically we should love one another. He used that description about what his brother went through, how he was living in sin constantly, and they
Hmm.
loved on him to the point that he made a turn. But when
Right,
another person who was the same sex in the same situation, they did everything in their power to tell them they're going to hell. Like
right,
that's the contradiction. Because
right,
we're mixing one sin bigger than the other sin, and at the end of this, sin is sin. So
right.
if you're gonna love on him, you need to love on this person. That's what Kevin on stage was saying.
Well, can I tell you, I think the exhaustion that most Americans and most black people feel when it comes to the scripture has to do with the hypocritical lives of the folks who are preaching from the book. It is like what you just said, is taking one verse out of the Bible and making that the preeminent verse for you to browbeat people and to demonize folks without and what we talk about as far as the entire counsel of the scripture. So people would rather walk away and be a what we refer to as a sinner than to have you sitting up picking and choosing which sin you're going to highlight, because we never talk about gluttonies. We never talk
No.
about bearing false witness. We never talk. And let me just say clearly, it just so for those of you that listening, it has to be false witness, niggas. If somebody's telling the truth about your black behind, that's not a false witness.
It's not. It's not. Yeah, and yeah. Speaking about health, well, I'm getting my health together too. And I'm down a few pounds, but I was just thinking about how there's been this talk about, oh, Kojic should have named Bishop Cedric the presiding prelate over Bishop Jesus Sears, and I went, the reason they didn't give it to him because his health challenges. The
Yeah,
man
he
could
will.
barely walk
Yeah, he was going. And where is he now?
in the grave.
Exactly. But who was I just telling this to the other day? I said, this is the dichotomy of being in leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me just say this about vlogging. This is the dichotomy of vlogging. Most people appreciate you for having the boldness to come up and give your thoughts, but then they turn around and hate you for giving them. You know, it's like a two-edged sword. They love you and hate you at the same time, you know, because it takes boldness to put yourself out here and show your face, you understand, on camera and do this stuff. So people are just, you know, that's why now at the place I am now, I don't feel nothing. But I was just telling somebody the other day, Dario, they always crucify these leaders no matter what. You know, you the pastor. They want you as the pastor because all of them was asking for Dre Juice. Oh, we want somebody
I
young.
remember they were moving him up so quick because they're like, we need this new leadership. You know, he's doing a great job here in Detroit. He's married to Kojic royalty, and then bam, get him out of here. He's a false prophet. He ain't doing this. Them nuts down south just saying all kind of foolishness. It's just like, okay.
But that comes with leadership. But see, as a mature man and a maturing man, I understand why the scripture says that a leader must be someone who is not swift to anger. You understand what I'm saying? Because you have to, if you've lived long enough on the planet, then you understand a lot more, or you should understand a lot more things about life and being on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
And so you should not be so swift to get angry all of the time. That's why I take my time. Normally, by the time I'm angry, let me tell y'all better step back. By the time I get mad, oh, it's a wrap, because I done let stuff pile up, and folks will tell you. Yeah, but I think we got a leadership crisis in the country.
Yeah.
And we have to stop putting up all of these people and these gospel wonders, thinking that, oh, these people are so great, because I'm sorry, the Americanized version of Christianity, I can't stand it. I don't like it at all. I cannot. Now, Dr. Ben Israel, if you wanted to come up and say anything, I'll drop the link again, because there's a couple people in here, and I'm sorry, I didn't want to exclude you in case, because I know I said a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Mary, I see you there too.
I was just about to say, Mary, hop up on here real quick. I just saw a comment, Marcel, I think it's from, is it Dr. I think that's the guy. He said that Bernard Jordan left Pilgrim because Hudson was made a successor and not him.
Wow. Well, I'm going to just say allegedly, but I sure believe it based on my experience, because I know some people just really think you're supposed to bow down to them. It's the strangest thing in the whole wide world to me.
That's weird.
I don't understand it. I'm like, I don't know you. You ain't my bishop. I don't know you. You coming over here thinking I owe you something. I don't owe you nothing, nigga.
I'll never forget that. I was so mad that night. I was texting you like, get him off your channel now. He's just come up here talking stuff. I'm like, oh my God.
Let me make sure these are my folks. Hold on, I gotta make sure. Dr. Ben, is this really you?
It's me.
All right. Mary, is this you?
You know it.
All right, let me take this off the screen, because I gotta protect the stuff. All right, y'all. All right, Dr. Ben, I'm gonna start with you, sir. Go for it, because you're on this. You're here. You're live.
Yeah, you was correct with the Bernard Jordan thing, because Bernard Jordan was under Roy Brown for as long as I can remember. I think when they were in Brooklyn together, I think, and then Roy Brown went down to South Carolina, and that's when he was married to Vicky Winans. And then when he got real sick, because he was actually bedbound, and
Is that
Jordan,
the same Roy Brown that was married to Vicky?
yeah, that's the same one, yeah,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, and
Are
they,
y'all sure about that?
oh
I don't
yeah,
know about that.
I'm very sure because he was based out of Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Yep, that's right. That's
Yeah,
him. Yep,
yeah,
yep, that's him.
yeah, it's
So
the same
wait a
one.
minute, wait a minute. Let me get this straight.
Hmm.
That man who just married that young woman so she could take care of him and
Right,
eventually died was the
right.
same man who was married to Vicky Winans.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
My
right.
God from Zion.
That's right.
Keep
Yep,
talking,
And
Dr. Ben.
yeah, Jordan was an integral part of their family because he gave a lot of offerings, a lot of financial offerings to Roy Brown. And the thing was is that Jordan had this. Now this is allegedly had this idea in his head that when Brown was crossing over, that he would become the successor of Pilgrim, and they wound up not doing it because I think they had set up arrangements for Hudson to become the archbishop at that time over everybody else. So there's a lot of kind of bitterness between Hudson and Jordan.
Mm, my God. That blows my mind. Well, God bless him. I just know my eyebrow is raised with William Hudson. My eyebrow is raised with all of these other folks. What's the other one that did? There's a couple of them because
that's why younger.
that's why younger. What's the
Yeah.
other dude? That's really popular now. Um, heavy set dude, be doing all the dancing and shouting. What's his name?
Bishop William something. He's from North Carolina.
One of those other dudes.
talking
All
about
of them.
you talking about Amir May?
No,
No,
no, no, no.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know what that man's name. It'll come to me later. But
okay.
I don't trust none of these guys because just
Mhm.
watching them and listening to them,
Right.
it sounds like the same spirit to me.
It
Um,
is. It is. See, I've had experiences with all these guys because when I was raised up in ministry, I was raised up by Bishop J. Delano Ellis.
Now
And
hold on, pause for just a minute. I didn't mean to interrupt
yes,
you. I want to
I'm
answer this
sorry.
lady's question. No, you're fine, Dr. Ben. I didn't mean to cut you off. Yes, Katrina, that's the same person we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to answer, but go ahead, Dr. Ben.
Yeah, Bishop J. Delano Ellis is the one that raised me up in ministry. And then when they were in Cleveland, Ohio at the time, and I was starting to ask a lot of questions because they had raised up a church in North Carolina, in Statesville, North Carolina, and that was up under then Bishop Carl D. Lights. And I was asking a lot of questions. So of course, I was moved to the side, but I got my consecration from them. And then I just moved on because I saw too much stuff going on with those people.
Mm. And you know what? It's amazing how much stuff goes on with these people who are supposed to be the righteousness of God in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to me. Mary, welcome to the program. Are you still traveling the world doing your thing? Because I didn't bother you this weekend because I know you was with family doing other stuff, so that's why I didn't bother you.
Yeah, I just got back from Houston and then I leave tomorrow for New Orleans.
Oh, okay. Well, you go have a baguette and some good gumbo for me, please.
No, a
Um,
beignet, not a baguette.
Wait a
You
minute.
talking about a baguette? It's a
Did I say that?
beignet.
Oh, it's a beignet. I'm sorry. Well, you put it in a baguette so you can have a beignet. I'm sorry. That is hilarious.
Yeah, look, who
Now,
was
wait a
up on the
minute.
docket tonight? Hint, hint, docket.
Listen, I just talked a little bit about Brian Carn, of course, this Bernard Jordan here and there, and all of the foolishness that surrounds these people who are just living in these hypocritical states. And it's just, to me, it's disgusting. And I think it's dishonorable. I just think it's so dishonorable. That's just my opinion. They don't have to like it, but it is my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess for me, it's just like, why? I can't find any valid reason as to why any of it would be necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said Bishop Vicky Winans was not married to no Archbishop Roy Brown. That's what somebody just said. Now, I do know she was married to a Roy Brown. I just didn't know it was that Roy Brown. Now, she was married to a Roy Brown. Now, I don't know if it was that Roy Brown, but I know she was married to a man named Roy Brown. And he was a singer. He used to sing Enjoying Jesus.
It's the same Roy Brown.
Oh, okay. So that man that used to sing all them songs too, that was that old
Yes, that's
man?
him.
I
That's
did not know that was the same person. They look totally different.
Yeah, he got sick real bad. He was real bad sick. And like I said earlier, he was Archbishop, Bernard Jordan and them was family with him because they were raised up in Brooklyn with him.
Brooklyn. Well, I'm about to tell y'all, if you live in New York, you get ready because there's going to be a sweeping through that city, and a lot of you folks over there in New York, y'all are going to be exposed. And
you think Whitehead is in there blowing the whistle on a bunch of people?
All I'm gonna tell you is this: if I lived in New York and I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, I would go somewhere and sit down. That is exactly what I would do because there's a sweeping coming, and y'all better go somewhere and sit down because a lot of y'all are doing stuff, and you have a whole group of you. It's a whole group of you, and you think you're hidden, and you don't think that nobody knows what you're doing, and because you've been able to hide for so long, and you've been doing it for so long, you think that you're going to get away with it and keep getting away with it. You're not.
Yes. And there's always a mole in the camp. There's always that one person who's either going to be like, they rode with it for a little while, and then maybe they decide, like, once they get betrayed or once they maybe had a change of heart, they're going to come out and they're going to be primary witness number one.
Yes.
Well, what is this? I don't know what this is. I don't know about y'all, but I'm looking for the keys in the street from the pandemic.
Huh?
If you know, you know. What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
I'm guessing it's tied into somebody's prophecy.
Probably.
I don't know what that means.
I think it had, because all the pandemic stuff, people they were doing all them prophecy stuff, and then I think was in New York one of the first ones who started doing all the shutdown stuff.
Right.
So I think it might have to do with one of the pandemic prophecies.
Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, listen. I guess I don't know, or maybe I do know, and I'm just confused right now. Because as you can see, I don't know what a baguette and a beignet is. But I'm trying to think. Why did I say baguette? Because what's a baguette?
A bag.
It's a croissant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm definitely going to make it through Europe as well. So I'll have a baguette there too. But yeah, exactly. They're all still fluffy dough.
I know. Anyway, I'm just having a brain fart moment because I'm like, Marcellus, why'd you say baguette? But anyway, because I eat a lot of different types of food and I like different types of food. And so anyway, but that's probably why I said it. But anyway, let's go on. He said, somebody said, no, that was Bishop Roy Brown. I just know he looked totally different. So he got real sick. My God, from something.
He got terribly, terminally sick. Because I remember coming to Brooklyn, and Al Sharpton was there, and they were going to let him speak, and they rolled Bishop Brown out in some type of wheelchair where he was laying. It looked like he was laying on a bed, but he spoke from the pulpit when he was sick, and it looked really bad. It did.
Wow. Well, and I know sometimes, Dr. Ben, a lot of those people do that a lot of times also for sympathy and finance.
Right.
Because you don't bring in folks like that, in those conditions like that. Somebody said that was Bishop Jordan's prophecy. Just being me, can you type in what the prophecy was supposed to be? Because now you got me intrigued.
Talk about the keys to the streets. That's what you start referring to.
Oh,
yeah, I know. What keys of what street?
I know what she's talking about. I don't know it verbatim, but it was in his book. I forgot what the name of that book was that he likes to talk about a whole
Hidden
lot.
Judgments, I'm sure.
The one that Marcellus has the 7th installment of.
I lied. And he should have known I'm a different type of person because I went out and bought his book. Like it wasn't just me, just running off at my mouth. I was like, okay, I'll go buy your book and read it because I read. So obviously I'm a different type of person, so it's just hilarious to me. But go ahead, Mary. I'm sorry. It's hilarious to me.
Oh no, I was just saying that's the book. I don't know the title, but I'm saying you would know it because you have it. I don't know what the prophecy was, but you would know it because you got the book. Look, go on and flip it open. Go find searching for the keys.
Listen here, listen here. I'm not inviting none of them spirits up in my house. I feel like if I crack that book open at this time, it just would be
Some
way
just
too
gonna
much.
rise up out of it.
Like no, because to be honest with you, I don't live my life connected to these types of people. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's a shocker that they would try to attach me to something I don't have nothing to do with. Seriously, like think about it, you all. When is the Mad Church Disease channel ever been connected to Larry or these other people like that? Like never. Like never. So it's just okay. Now I gave my commentary, but to be this close, I feel like I'm way too close. Like I don't want to be this close.
But not only that, they're all saying the same thing. They don't know you, ain't never spoke to you, don't got your number.
Right.
They had to go through other people to get your email. So it's like, if all these people are saying they don't talk to each other, because why would either side, like, why would you lie saying you're not connected to them? And why would they lie saying they're not connected to you? Unless you're just not connected.
Well, see, here's a funny thing. All of this stuff can be proven because if they do take, and go through your stuff, they're gonna quickly realize these folk don't know each other. They're gonna quickly realize it.
Half of y'all probably from each other because y'all really don't fool with each other.
Let's just be honest. I want to be clear here. I don't know these other folks, but Larry and I most certainly do not see eye to eye when it comes to some things. Now, I will be honest with you. I agree with Larry on a lot more things than I've spoken about publicly, and that I will speak about publicly, and I'll leave those things until the time that the Lord lets me know that I should say what I need to say. But I don't hate Larry, and I don't. I don't dislike anybody. I don't dislike none of these vloggers, but these people need to learn to get over this stuff and just move on. Just move on. And there's going to always be a Neanderthal preacher that we're going to be able to talk about in this space. I got that promise many, many years ago. The Lord told me, he said, Marcel, you're going to always have something to talk about. We're going to always have something to talk about. And notice I didn't say someone to talk about. I said something to talk about. There will always be something to talk about when it comes to the institution and what we have, Dariel. So I think we're always going to have something to talk about.
There's always going to be one cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in the batch that's going to cause a scene. So,
well, speaking of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, the president, as he was being escorted out of that ballroom yesterday, I don't know if y'all noticed he fell. First of all, he can't even move quick.
He tripping. He falling. He can't get up. He tripping. He fell.
No, them ankles are swollen and he can't walk, and he has to walk a certain kind of way. And if he's in a rush type situation, he gonna fall. Now, I'm not old people shaming because I'm getting older and I understand how planting your feet becomes very important the older you get. So I get that. But this is a crisis in this country because, and I hate to say it, oh God, why all the people that got the jobs don't know how to do the damn jobs, but I'm sorry, I didn't curse. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say it that way. And why all the people that got the job can't do the job, but they done fired all the other people who can do the jobs?
I'm trying to figure out how that man got in that hotel.
Well, first of all, it's a hotel, and according to what I've been able to research and find, they didn't have any security out front. It was just they kept everything like a normal hotel.
So if you have ever been, and let me know if you guys have ever been in a situation where you went to an event where there is a sitting official of government entity
yes,
there.
I have. I've hosted
there
them.
is security from a 4-block radius.
Correct.
And you cannot get to checkpoint A through checkpoint B without getting clear through checkpoint C. And that goes on for 24 hours at a time. So I'm trying to understand how this dude with a loaded weapon and we're all in the middle of DC at a White House press correspondence dinner, can
He,
walk into a hotel, sit in the area, get down on the ground, and open fire in front of everybody, and no
well,
security saw that.
they said on the news reports he had already had a room in the hotel.
Mm.
Now, how
Right.
long he had the room is a whole nother question, but
He was
according
a
to
guest.
right,
He
so
was a guest.
it was easy for him to get in there because even the reporters themselves said that the security was lax because there
Oh
were
my God.
several of them that said that they didn't have to show no ID to get into the ballroom.
Listen, Simone Sanders and some of these people that was in that room have been giving me the laughter that I have needed over the last couple of days. Let me tell you, they've been eating. One lady said on MSNBC, because I refuse to watch CNN. I can't do it.
Oh really?
Uh,
Okay.
no, so I went over to MSNBC, and the reason why I don't watch CNN, first of all, I don't want to watch people fight for 2 and 3 and 4 hours. I want to have a good conversation and be able to draw out the various points and just have an good articulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
All they do on CNN now is fight. It's fight, fight, fight. They done turned Abby Phillips into a referee.
I'm so disappointed in her, and
You know,
I really, yeah,
I can't
I
take it
really
anymore.
don't like her right now.
There was a lady, you all, I kid you not, this was on MSNBC. I am not making this up. That white lady she said, you know what? What a way to start your evening when you haven't even had your salad. That's exactly what she said. I fell out laughing. I was laughing so
Not
hard.
her salad. She said she ain't had a salad, an appetizer, nothing.
She said,
Wow.
I didn't even have my salad yet. She said, what a way to start. You ain't even had your salad. I fell out laughing. Then there was a couple of more that made some comments. And the comments were just so funny. You know, I know it's a serious situation, kind of, sort of, but not really. And let me explain to you why. I think this is all a setup.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think any of this is real. And the reason why I don't think any of this is real, the first thing he gets up to the microphone and start talking about is his stupid ballroom that the judge said that he couldn't build.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, why are we talking about this raggedy ballroom? They done already told you couldn't build it. You know, and keep tearing down all of these edifices and doing all of the stuff that you're doing. So I don't know you all. I'm not normally, Dr. Ben, a conspiracy theorist, but I just don't believe nothing. I don't believe he was shot at.
Right.
When that time when he had that little earlobe thing where he went down.
Oh yeah.
All of this is looking very suspicious to me.
Well, did you hear what he said last night at the press conference when they asked him? They said, why are these things still, happening to you? And he comes out his little stinking mouth and says, well, you we're doing something right if someone's trying to take you out. And look at people in history.
Oh, yeah, that was the one that was offensive. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, dude, like really go look at your history, man. Some of them cats that was shot was foul. I mean, I hate to say it like that.
Right. But let me just say you are 1000% correct. And here's the thing that with me and him. First of all, you want to go down in history as some wonderful figure, and you don't realize you have the lowest rating of a president, I believe, in history.
Yes.
You know, if you do go down in history, it's because nobody likes you.
Yeah.
You know, you have ruined this country. And I really believe he's trying to bankrupt us. I really do.
33%.
Oh no, he absolutely is. He absolutely is. But the other reason why it gives, but the other reason why it gives conspiracy theory is because of those simple, like security, like every single incident has said, like even with the earlobe thing, oh, the people were trying to warn Secret Service, the people were trying to do this, the people were trying to do that. And then same thing with the hotel. If they knew in advance, because I don't know how he does his schedule, he do everything on a whim, it seemed like. They do not let regular people rent those rooms.
No.
When the president is coming, they clear the whole hotel.
Normally.
That's true.
So I'm just like, why is it that you just feel like, oh, well, if you're doing the right thing in history, no, sir, because you're not following any security protocols, and you're if all this stuff is really happening to you, you're doing it on purpose because you're not taking those security measures that every other president in history that we've known since, assassinations have been happening, take. They block out the whole hotel. No regular person outside of whoever is on his list is allowed in that hotel.
He wants that ballroom.
Right. Well, I've hosted senators. I've hosted very notable individuals. Do you all not understand that before these senators, I'm just talking about the senators show up to your office, you have to present a prospectus that shows all of the emergency exits, the evacuation plans. You got to have a plan on how you're going to get them to the hospital quickly in case anything goes awry. You have to have a documented plan in order to you have to submit that in order to host them. So for all of these people, and these are notable people, you're talking about the vice president, the president, secretary of state, or whoever, all of these people.
Speaker of the House is there,
Everybody
every
is there.
single person. Single person.
Y'all running like flies. Now, there's one scene, I don't know if y'all saw it. They was running past this brother. He was security guard. He was walking so cool and calm and collected. I don't know if y'all saw that. I said, boy,
I would have to go through and watch them because I hadn't been watching. I didn't see any. Like I saw the headline go across my thing, but I was just enjoying myself this weekend.
And people, Marcellus, don't realize that Secret Service's job is to protect the president.
Correct.
And they got him and the vice president out of there. Anything else could just happen.
Correct. And most people don't realize that they're not there to protect other people. They're just there to protect him.
Right.
Right. He's done. And once that's done, it's a wrap. Then whatever goes down, goes down. Now let's talk about this brother from Torrance. Now, I've been discussing with people because he's a light-skinned brother because he's black. From what I see, the picture I saw, he appears to be black. And would you all come to that conclusion, or do you guys think he's something other than black?
I thought he was black, period. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was black.
For a black man who was staying in a hotel, relatively nice hotel, to come downstairs and recognize that the president is there and to seize on that opportunity to think that he could take the president out. Do you think it's mental illness, or do you think he just saw an opportunity because he's living in such a miserable state? Because he is from Torrance. I don't know if it just looks like, something. I don't know what the totality of his history is, but I'm not going to be so quick to say this is mental illness here. Because I know a lot of people, if, they wouldn't go to jail, would off a few folks.
I personally don't think it's mental illness. I do believe, just like you, Marcellus, that there's a conspiracy theory going on here because he wants to get that ballroom done. And what better way than to have a lapse in security and say, oh, yeah, the Metro Police did a great job, but if we had the ballroom, it would be military ready. So that's my opinion.
Keep in mind, he has one of the lowest ratings right now of any sitting U.S. president. His own Trump-supporting people are pissed at him right now with all the money that they're losing. This war is costing this country, what's the word, like $40 billion a week?
A lot.
So, I just think the fix is in.
I don't believe nothing coming out of the White House. And
nobody should. Nobody should right now.
Who sent me a picture this morning of Stephen Miller hiding behind his pregnant wife? Which one?
I saw that.
Somebody sent me that picture. Now you making me go. I gotta look it up.
That's real because I saw that he had grabbed her and he was sitting behind her while everything was going on.
Oh, you a low son of a gun that hide behind your own wife. It might have been Daryl. It might have been Daryl that sent me that.
His fat butt is big enough for both of them. So,
but Trump didn't want to. He didn't want to stop. He wanted to continue on with the ceremony.
Wow. They say he's somebody say he's a foreign national. I'll do some more research on it. But I don't know. Maybe it wasn't Daryl. I'm looking because somebody has sent me a picture of that.
I saw
It's
the
out there.
video. I saw the
Yeah.
video of Erica Kirk walking out crying.
Oh Lord,
Um,
help us.
Okay.
so
Well, here's the
Please,
situation.
oh, that girl.
Well,
Oh
first of
God.
all, okay. Oh no, now I'm gonna talk about this and then we're gonna get out of here. When did it become okay to get online and call a black woman
Mm,
a nappy headed? I think she called her the B word.
yeah, she did.
that's Laura Lomer. That
Lord,
wasn't
when did
Yeah,
that become okay?
never.
no,
I mean,
but at the
given who
same
our
time,
head
yeah.
But
honcho is, anything is acceptable at this point.
you know what? Candace Owens has burned the black community so bad
Mm-hmm.
that she has nowhere else to turn right now. Even though that was a terrible what Laurie Loomer said, because we all know she's a racist, point blank.
Right.
And to come back at because Candace Owens is a very intelligent young lady. I'll give her that. And the thing,
Depending on the time of day.
yeah, but the things that she right now, me, I don't really have that much pity for her because of the things that she said. And I can only imagine that the black community in a whole probably doesn't have any pity for her.
No, we don't. I know I don't.
No.
The only thing that I went over to Candace on situation to watch was the documentary she did on Erica Kirk, because she's been lighting Erica Kirk up. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was the only thing that I went, and I like to see them implode and eat themselves alive because they deserve it.
Yeah.
So that's been my whole thing. But let me tell you all something. I think the whole earth is in the trouble it's in because of hypocritical lives and people not living according to their jobs, like in their lives, the things they claim they want to do. If you're the secretary of whatever, you should be the secretary of that. You shouldn't be working on behalf of one man. You should do your job in excellence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you're a preacher and a pastor, be that. Don't be the gospel singer. Everybody want to be everything. Now you want to be a prophet, you want to be the gospel singer. Everybody's everything. It's crazy. Like, we diminish the gift so by not actually all being authentically what we're anointed to be and anointed to do. That's just my opinion. Because I think it just dilutes the whole process. And Jesus said a little leaven spoils the whole loaf. And boy, is this a moldy loaf. And I'm just like, Lord, keep me above the mold. I'm trying to be above the mold, but it's hard. I appreciate every single one of y'all coming on. I appreciate all of you that have sent some level of support to this channel. I love and appreciate every one of you. Dr. Ben, you guys stay put until our show ends and I come back up and say my final goodbyes to you. So I don't know if you know that's the process, Dr. Ben, so don't go anywhere.
I know now.
Okay, stay put. Mary Dariel, I'll talk to you guys in a second. Don't go anywhere. Shout out to all of you that are in the chat. I really do appreciate you and you. Y'all pray for me. Pray for my mother, please. And that's all I'm going to say in this program. But I love and appreciate every single one of y'all.
Mad Church Disease, a channel that's all about current events, news, and Christian drama. A channel that's dedicated to our forgotten brothers and sisters throughout the ages. Our brothers and sisters who courageously stepped outside the safe bounds of institutional Christianity to tell the truth. A channel whose goal is to help the average person understand that Jesus plus nothing is everything. So, comment, subscribe, and smash the notifications button to be a part of this channel.
Welcome to the Mad Church Disease channel, a channel dedicated to our forgotten brothers and sisters throughout the ages. Want to stay connected to me and the Mad Church Disease community? Well, then join our email community newsletter. Stay in the know with all the updates and fresh content that is created for this channel. It's time you join the private community for the revolutionary family, where we can talk and laugh all in a space that's safe with a no judgment zone. Connect with other members and build lasting friendships. The doors are now open. Want to stay connected and be notified each time I go live? Subscribe to the text community and be notified each time that we go live. Simply add your details for instant updates on all our lives. Are you a budding YouTuber or business professional who would like my thoughts on all things business related? Book a free 15-minute consultation where I can help with social media, YouTube, web design, and so much more. Book your consultation now and build your future. Get away from the rat race and build your business.